Truck, yeah, baby. What is going on, people of the internet? Welcome back to Jay Wheelie. Today we're gonna be throwing a 2.5 to 3 inch truck exhaust on my Turbo Civic. So if you saw the end of last video, which was part 5, this one will be part 6. We were at the junkyard in a snowstorm and pulled this exhaust off of this truck. It was a Chevy or a GMC 1500. And I also got this muffler as well at the junkyard. I just found it sitting on the floor, and that's a 2.5 inch muffler or resonator. So let's run through our full exhaust setup here. So from the turbo, we have a 3 inch eBay downpipe. So half of it is right here that I had to weld and turn. The other half is over here. I may as well show you guys in case you're new here. This is the other half. So it's got the bung in there already. It's got a flex pipe, and it looks good. So we're going 3 inch downpipe. And then it's gonna go, probably I'm gonna weld a flange in. I got this pipe from a buddy of mine. We're gonna weld a flange, I think, onto the truck exhaust, because on the start of the truck exhaust, there's an O2 bung under there. If you guys can see, should be right there. You might be able to see, might not. So I want a flange there just so I can take it on and off easily. I was just gonna weld it all one piece, and then I was thinking, wait a second, how am I gonna lift that big heavy exhaust and try and get it onto the turbo here? I have taken rusty exhausts off of turbo vehicles before, the whole downpipe and everything in one piece, which is a pain in the butt. It's easier to get off than it is to put on. We're gonna try and do a flange. So anyways, 3 inch downpipe to 2 inch truck exhaust, then to 3 inch truck exhaust out the back. So there's already a muffler resonator in there. If I think it's gonna be loud, I might put another one in and have like a kind of a sleeper looking car, even though it's got a light bar and a roof rack. Doesn't mean it looks fast, it just means it's got some stuff done to it. So not too sure yet. We'll check in when we're under the car here. Okay, let's take a moment to think here. So yesterday I drew up a quick picture here of what I thought would be the exhaust, just because I wanted to see it on paper. So I did downpipe, and then Jared gave me a piece of pipe that's like, I think it's a 2.5 inch here, and then it's actually a 3 inch tip here. I was gonna weld the 3 inch tip to the downpipe flange, and then I have a little 2.5 inch exhaust clamp that would go from Jared's piece to the truck exhaust, and then the truck exhaust back. Now, that's not a good idea, so we're gonna scrap that. Let's try this again, because I shouldn't weld an exhaust tip to the back of the downpipe. I want something that comes on and off. So let's try this again. Okay, so downpipe here, and then I'm gonna use a flange from Jared's exhaust. I think we're gonna do some of the truck piping with the bung on it. Yeah, we'll do the 2.5 truck pipe with the little bung on it, and then we'll weld to this one hot dog here, which is pretty long. Hot dog, HD is hot dog, and that will be weld. Then on the other side of the hot dog, maybe we'll use the exhaust clamp in there. How do you draw that? That's 2.5, and now this stuff is 3 here. Now we have essentially 3 pieces. So we have a downpipe, a midpipe, a clamp, and then basically our catback, if you will. I think that'll work. That'll make it easier to take it off, easier to install it. It should be good. Okay, well this exhaust has given me a good brain workout. So what I've decided so far is I'm gonna make a cut right here, right there, if I can point better. And this is gonna act as my rear muffler. It's gonna look like the fart can at the back. And I just put tailpipe there. And then I'm gonna cut it here. So from here to there is gonna be the rear tailpipe muffler section. And then I marked it here. This is 2.5 inch pipe. This is where the 2.5 joins to the 3 right there. So I just wrote it on there to keep in mind. The bung, I don't think I'm gonna have where I wrote it on the paper anymore. I think we're gonna scratch the bung for now. We're gonna scratch the bung. But we'll talk about that when we get there. For now, let's cut this. Okay, so I got hangers pretty much where I want them already for the rear exhaust. There's two that are back there about a glove length away, so I can just bend them out a little bit and it'll work pretty good. Oh no, I broke it. Oh well, now it's gonna have to be welded on. Let's do some grinding. There you have it. Here's our muff and our tailpipe. Looking good. There's the aftermath. It looks so much smaller now. I wish I could have done this at the junkyard so that I didn't put a hole in the dash of my Legacy. I ripped the leather on the dash, which is too bad, but oh well. Let's get this thing where it belongs. All right, here's how they look in size comparison. The one I made is a little bit long, so I don't want to overexpose it here. A little bit long, but it's got that nice bend already. The like 22.5-degree double bend, that's awesome. So if this puppy's in here, it's a little tight right now because the other exhaust is still on there. Obviously, I don't want it sticking out this far. But once I get that other exhaust out, we'll fab up the other pieces there. All right, so this is the puny little stock exhaust, and I'm very curious to know what the diameter is. When I bought it and I looked underneath, I'm like, holy, that's a small exhaust. It looks like 1 inch. I'm gonna say 1.5 inches. Let's see. Inch, yep, 1.5 inches. So we're going 1.5 inches to 3, we're doubling the size. So I brought the exhaust pieces out now. I have the stock Civic exhaust next to my modified truck exhaust here. And it looks like I can get it pretty close. So I'm gonna start, now that I got the muffler piece in, I'm gonna start from the front and do this like hot dog resonator muffler first. Cut out this piece of bung, because the bung, again, I'll tell you after, but straight into the 2.5, then the 2.5 to 3, the 3 out, maybe we'll chop it here, and then from there I'll have to do a diagonal weld onto the tailpipe part with that second muffler there, or resonator. Right now I'm going to use this flange off of this 2-inch piping because it fits to my downpipe, and I'm going to weld it on front of this hot dog here. So I'm just going to zap this off. Flange is diced up. I'm gonna go have some lunch. I'll meet you guys back out here in a second. All right, lunchtime's over, and I just saw something that really made me think. I like when people make me think. Never get stuck in the same mindset for too long, and always be thinking, always be asking questions. That being said, the morning went a little slow, but we're gonna get back to welding, or we're gonna start welding now. I think this is the hardest car thing I've ever done. Sorry if I'm really loud, I got earbuds in. just getting this flat and that flat to weld them together. I've been doing this for like, who knows, half an hour now, it's still not even flat. Prepping this damn pipe took forever, but I'm happy to say now that my welding is getting better. It's not good, but it's getting better. What I was doing before with the welder is I would like do quick circles because I know you're supposed to like stack dimes like that. But what I started doing now is letting the wire melt more and doing slow little circles and overlapping. And then through the welding mass, you can actually see the molten metal, and you're like going back into it and pulling out, going in, pulling out. So I was going way too fast before, so I'm going slower. Now that's a very beginner tip, and I know there's probably 10 more tips I could use right now, but I'm by myself and nobody's helping me, so that's my tip to you. So there's still some cracks and holes in here I can see, so I'm gonna do one pass over the whole thing, see if I can remelt the weld that I already melted. I don't know if that's a welding thing or not. If you weld, you can let me know in the comments. But I'm gonna go back around, try and remelt all of this, and then just have one seamless line all the way around. Let's see if I can do it. All right, so I've got the exhaust under the car now. So what I have is the downpipe just fit into place onto the other half of the downpipe with the oil pan holding it up there, into this hot dog resonator here, held up with a jack stand. Now I gotta configure a mid-pipe here out of the 2.5 that leads to the 3-inch piping where the light is right there. And then this stuff back here is the 3-inch piping. And this 3-inch will now lead up to where the light is up here, the 3-inch at the back with another hot dog muffler resonator. So that's just what I'm dealing with here, and let's try and mock some stuff up and get it welded. All right, now I gotta smooth both of these out so they fit together, and we're gonna weld it just like this. That side goes toward the tailpipe. This side is the mid-pipe toward the downpipe. All right, well, I was just about ready to weld, and then I realized the welder was out of wire. So I was re-spooling it, and I've never done this before, but obviously you put the new spool of wire on, feed it through, and then as I was pulling the trigger and feeding the wire through, it got jammed up because the old piece of wire was in there. So what I did is I took off this big nozzle. There's another little piece you gotta unscrew, and then one more piece you gotta unscrew. They're all just like a nozzle, smaller nozzle, and then a smaller nozzle, basically. Take those 3 out, and then just grab a pair of pliers and pull the end of the wire, and it'll pull out. You can pull out the rest of your old wire or the jammed up wire. There's just probably a little kink in it somewhere, and then you just feed your new wire through by pulling the trigger. So now we're ready to weld this. I went ahead and ground this down a bit, got it pretty well matched up, so we could hopefully get a clean weld. Let's try it out. I'm so hyped right now. My welds are actually coming together, and I'm learning to weld. I'm gonna throw this exhaust up on my welding table here, and then we're gonna finish it off. This is so exciting. I'm finally getting it, but also being careful not to burn through here. Oh, I melted through a little bit. That molten metal. It's coming along though. It's starting to look good. I'll show you this side here. Not bad. Okay, so far this is my best weld ever. It's looking really good. I just got a few pinholes that I drew with Sharpie and pointed to all of them so I can fill them in, but the fastest and easiest weld I've done so far. I'm actually pretty proud of it. It's not great, but I'm very proud of it. So essentially the pipe underneath here is the one we're replicating, and the one that I've welded right here is the new one. So this is the one that goes to the stock axle back, and my axle back I made probably comes to about here. So we're gonna draw a line here and hack this part off, the truck axle back, so that it meets up to the other muffler I have under there. Maybe right about there, diagonal. Cool. That's about where we're gonna hack it. Well, I just snapped my file trying to bend this heat shield up. So don't use files to try and pry things. All right, we'll do a quick test fit under here, and then we can move on. You know what? That looks really good right there. That looks really good. But the far end here doesn't look so good. I just test fit the exhaust as you saw under the car. Now we got it out. I got it back stacked on the old exhaust. And it's so hard to go in and do measurements and bring it back out and get it exactly where I need. So I'm gonna try and copy the stock exhaust as closely as possible. So we have this bend where it comes up here, as you can see, on both of them. So what I'm gonna do is put about a 10-inch piece of pipe here and just try to replicate it so it looks like the stock one. Right now I'm working on the connector piece between the catback and the axle back here. Very tedious, very, very tedious. So what I'm doing is, I started to weld it on, but this piece was a big oval and this one was a circle, so I pounded this one a little bit into an oval here. Now I'm making cuts here to pinch this oval onto more of a circular pipe. And the back, we still have a hole there we're gonna have to deal with. But for now, with these cuts, it's actually folding on really nicely. I should be able to start welding them now. All right, back over by the two exhausts now. So this piece is what now welded on. I was originally gonna weld these two together, but I have this exhaust clamp that's meant for like 3¼ inch piping or something. And these are 3-inch, so I don't know if it's gonna fit. I didn't account for this one to slip over that about 1 inch, but I think I'm gonna try it. Cut like maybe 4 to 6 slits here. Stretch them out a bit, slide it over top of this one, and then use this exhaust clamp on there. That way if I want to take off the rear muffler, if it's too quiet, I can do that, and it's not all set in stone. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're gonna bang some of these tabs out a little bit here. Not quite yet. It over, just about. All right, they're not quite fitting on, so we're gonna zap them just a little bit more. Okay guys, that was a struggle. I don't think I'm joking when I say that took me about 1.5 to 2 hours to get this pipe over this one. I had to go back and cut it so many times. Finally slid it over. I have this band here, and I'm not sure if this band is gonna hold, so I might put a couple tack welds. Tack welds is what I was gonna say. The camera died. But you guys, I only have 3 welds to make. That's not 3. 3 welds to make, and then we're done. So it's fabbing up the downpipe. There's 2 welds there, and then 1 weld to connect the midpipe to the catback, and we're done. So let's go get this thing done. It's taking so long. Okay, so I just want to jump in here and get this downpipe welded up, get the back welded up like I just said, and just get this exhaust finished because I've been working on it for so long. I edited it up and it looks like it's only a maybe 25-minute video or so, but this takes a lot of work. So let's get this finished. I have some lines drawn on here with Sharpie, and I'm just gonna throw a couple tacks on here. I got my ground set up. We'll see if I can do this under the car. Oh, 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 shit. Oh, it burned right through my hoodie. Second welding tip of the video. Don't weld sitting underneath what you're welding. Man, that hurt. But we got a tack on there. That's good. Good. It smells like freaking marshmallows under here. It's my skin burning. Here's the downpipe. This was the fastest 2 welds I've ever done, so I'm very happy. They're not perfect, like there are some good spots like right here, but there are some very chunky spots too. But I went ahead and touched it up as well, and it's good to go in. Let's throw it in the car. Okay, so I just threw the downpipe back on there. It fits good, it looks good. It's connected to that hot dog muffler resonator. Now we're gonna grab this piece of exhaust, like the catback portion. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these off because they're not in the right spot. It needs one back here somewhere, so somewhere around here. So I'm gonna cut these off and then we're gonna throw it underneath. Okay, well this is a great test for the future to see how easy this thing is to get in and out. So we'll start with the tailpipe here. So I got a bunch of boxes jerry-rigged at the back here to hold up my kind of fart can going on. Underneath, I got a 2x4 holding it up there. And I'm doing this because this is the final weld between this hot dog resonator muffler here and this pipe here, right where the light is shining. That's my last weld. So if I screw that up, it's gonna be an issue. But look at how nice this exhaust is working out here. And that one goes up above. That goes up to the downpipe there. It's looking really good. So now I just gotta drop this resonator down a little bit, use my Sharpie, and mark where I'm gonna weld it. Before we do that, in case it slips, I'm just gonna mark the bottom here. Put a B, just to be able to mount up. I trimmed a little piece off the resonator. I got it all ground up here. Now this should be our final weld if all goes smooth. Wish me luck. All right, well that weld looks great and it's holding up. Right now, I just measured underneath the car from the downpipe to the first exhaust hanger, 41.5 inches. So 41.5 here. I put a line there and put hanger. So that would be this hanger right here on the other exhaust. So I'm probably just gonna cut this one off, weld it onto the new exhaust here. Does he go for the sticky taffy pudding, or does he go for the second exhaust hanger? All right, guys, I just broke off an exhaust hanger. Let's take it back a step here. I welded that one exhaust hanger on the front. I flipped it around, so the one I just welded on is up here. As I was welding on that one, I was twisting the exhaust. Apparently I broke off my other exhaust hanger, so that one is over here. I just welded another one on where this one was, and this one broke off too. So we're in a time crunch right now. This is pissing me off, but I think we're gonna call the video here and then do a part 6.5 or something to finish up this exhaust, and that'll be next time. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later.